Hello, welcome to Wellspace Counseling. My name is Jason Wilkinson. And we all get into fights. Everyone gets into conflict. There's just no way around it. It just happens. But one of those things that happens that turns conflict into greater fights is using certain statements. So there's 5 statements that we use that often turn conflict into fights. First statement that is used that turns conflicts into fights is universal statements. These are exaggerated statements, often sounding something like, you always do this, or you never do that. You never do the dishes. I always have to do the laundry. You never take out the trash. Those statements tend to be exaggerated. They're not necessarily always the truth, and it leaves little wiggle room for further conversation. It's very accusatory. The second statement that often turns conflict into fights is criticisms or complaints that turn into criticisms. So this may start out as just a complaint. I never get to eat spicy food. And then it adds on the critique. I never get to eat spicy food because you don't like spicy food. I never get to exercise because you won't go running with me. And it often puts the blame on the other person, your partner, your spouse, whoever it may be. The third statement that often turns conflicts into fights is these mind-reading statements. These tend to be some unspoken, or we assume we're making assumptions about what the other person is thinking or how they will react. I didn't want to tell you because I knew you were going to get upset. I didn't want to say anything because I knew you were going to say no. And so we just make these assumptions. We never allow our partner or our spouse to go ahead and have a response. We just go ahead and we assume this is what it is going to be. And we don't always know. Positive criticism would be the fourth statement that we often use that turns conflict into fights. And positive criticism often will start out as it's so nice to spend this time with you. And then again, we turn it into a critique. It's so nice to spend this time with you. We should have done this 3 weeks ago, or I wish you had started spending this time with me 3 weeks ago. And so again, it's something that starts out sounding really, really kind, but it's a jab. And we make these jabs, we throw these punches, and instead of just letting a positive comment just be there. And then the fifth statement that often turns conflict into fights is it's more of the throwing out the kitchen sink, throwing it all out there. And this is going ahead and when a conversation is happening or when a conflict is occurring, we go ahead and we toss in something that's happened in the past, again, unspoken, something that's been bugging us in the past, and we just throw it out there. So this could be, we really have to have conversation around our budget. We're spending way more money than what we're bringing in. And the other person goes ahead and says something like, well, you're spending way too much time on your phone. You spend more time on your phone every night than we do getting to talk about the budget. And so these are 5 statements, again, 5 statements that often turn conflict into fights. Hopefully you find these helpful and that you're able to go ahead and use them or not use them so that you can have a healthy relationship with others.